Okay, welcome to your Unit 1 milestone task. This is the chance to show everything that you've learned this unit and celebrate how far you have come. So we're going to walk through the test in this video and just go over the instructions. So page 1, you're going to use the draw function to draw a graph that accurately represents Carson's trip to school. So over here, we've got our story. So you're going to read each part of the story. And as you read, you're going to click on this draw function over here, and you are going to draw your graph. So I'm not saying this is what it looks like because I'm not even reading the story, but you are going to draw each section of the graph of the story. After you finish drawing, so let's say I've got my graph in here, you're going to use the post-it function or the sticky note to label each part of the graph as increasing, decreasing, and constant. So I could take my post-it, I typed increasing on it, and I'm just going to stick it right next to where my graph is increasing. Okay, so that is the first section. This is where you will probably spend the majority of your time. So take your time making these graphs. On page 2, you're going to answer 2 questions about your graph. To answer the questions, you can do a couple of things. So on the Jamboard, you can either add a text box by clicking on this T and then clicking on the screen and type your answer into there. Or if you don't want to add a text box, you can add a sticky note and you can also type your answer into there. And then you just click answer. Wow, doing a great job. Right? And it would save and I can just stick it right there. So I'm going to answer these 2 questions about my graph. And then the third section is a matching game. So we've done matching games a couple of times in class. You're going to read each of the stories. You're going to look at each of the graphs. So if I'm going to start, I'd probably start by reading this red story down here. Luis decided to walk to the park, and so on, so on, so on. Once I look at these graphs and I think I've figured out which one shows Luis's trip to the park, I'm going to take the draw function and I would draw a line matching my story to the graph. So I'm not sure if that's the right answer, but I drew a line matching it, and then you need to label the axes of each graph. So that means that if I think these 2 match, I need to write in using a sticky note, what do I think is being measured on each axis of this graph? So I think, I'm not entirely sure because I haven't read the whole story, but let's say I think this one's going to be distance time. So I would stick 2 sticky notes right on the edges, showing what they measure. Okay. That is the last large section of the milestone. The very last question is to just pick one of your matches from the previous page and explain how you know it's a match. So just write a couple of sentences. On the last 2 pages of the milestone, you can see the rubric. You can see that for each learning target, 4 means I completely understand, I could teach this, and a 1 is, okay, I'm just beginning to understand. There are different learning targets for each section of the milestone. When you finish your milestone, you want to go ahead and turn it in on Google Classroom. And know that we are all here to help you for this milestone today. Okay, that's it. If you have more questions, go ahead and ask any of the teachers. Thank you.